Next, we will ask the Crusaders and the headmaster and head coach, Todd Kirk, if he will come up this time.
We're right in the middle of the grind, as Coach said there. The season, and my wife does this. When I go home to eat, I don't say much. She says, "What's wrong with you?" Yeah, what is wrong with you? I said, "I'm trying to get a first down. I'm trying to get a first down." We are right in the middle of our season, and it is a grind. All right, 2 weeks ago, we went to Calhoun Academy, didn't play well. Didn't play with much energy. Was very disappointed. We flipped around this past week. We went to, when I left the school going to Clarendon Hall, it was 96 degrees. And we pulled out with all 12 of us and headed toward Somerton. And got down there and was playing a team better than us. And somehow or another, in the third quarter, we were ahead by 10 points. You know how crazy this game is. And before the quarter was over, we had stopped the game 5 times for cramps, and I had to cry uncle at the end of the third quarter. We could not finish. And that's probably, we've not been able to finish a couple times in the last 20 years for different reasons, but that's the first time that happened. I didn't have an ounce of salt left in any human on my sideline. Just couldn't do it. And that's a sad thing. That's a sad thing because it's probably the best first half we've had at my school in probably 10 or 12 years as far as kids playing hard and making plays. I've got some parents here right now, those folks. All right, they didn't have a tongue left to drag the ground. They really, really didn't. They left it down there, and I couldn't have been more happy about that. Again, we were up 10, and one thing that I'll share this with you. I go out at the end of the third quarter and I shake the guy's hand and I say, "Well, we can't finish." And he wanted to continue on because he had some young guys that couldn't play. And I remember being that way, but we're not that way right now. And I got a little mad because I said about 10 minutes ago, I had you on the ropes by 10 points and you have recovered and got ahead of me here. So, but I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Anyway, I wanted to say that. But anyway, going to Richard Wynn tomorrow. Good opponent, traditional opponent. They've got a good football team. They've got one loss. I think they're 5-1 right now. It'll be a challenge for us, and I've shared that with these guys. On Monday, I had the tiredest football team I've ever had. I've never had that tired football team. We've not been able to do what we wanted to do this week. We got a lot to cover today, but I couldn't be more proud of them. And I tell them that life is real. This is reality. This is reality. We had some guys yesterday who couldn't do everything they wanted to do. And hey, you know what? We're sitting at the table looking at a coach here, and we're sitting at the table looking at a coach here. Hey, cry somebody else's shoulder. I get all that. I get all that. But again, it's that time of year. I will say this. I've never seen temperatures as high last week in the middle of the season. And nobody's going to disagree with me there, but you got to deal with it. It had an effect on us. Anyway, going down to play Richard Wynn. I got 3 guys here with me. And an interesting thing about Orange Academy, a lot of times in your first year of playing, you can go home and say, "Hey, Mom, I'm a starter now." Anyway, Brett Stewart, stand up. He's one of our sophomores, just came to us this year, has done a wonderful job for us. Got a lot of football ahead of him. I appreciate him. Played cornerback a little bit the other night and has made some plays for us, but I appreciate Brett. And here's Kyle Rita, and he is from Brazil. And before we come over here, he said, "Coach, will you introduce me as being from the streets of Rio?" No, I said, "You're a rich kid. I'm not going to do that at all. Sit down, Kyle." Anyway, I borrowed him from basketball. He's a basketball player. He's just been an asset to our program. We've got a number of kids from Brazil, and they've just been such a plus, just wonderful kids, and just bring a lot to us. But anyway, again, I borrowed him from basketball, and he's just done a wonderful job. And he's learned about our culture and also about Orange Academy. I appreciate it so much. Will Jones is a sophomore, plays defensive end. And all I can say about Will is he always says yes, sir, and he's gotten better every single week. And that's what I want players like that to do. Absolutely. Will also doubles as a tight end at times. Usually when you throw it to him, he catches it. All right? But he's a true teammate. And all these guys have got such good career ahead of them. Anyway, thank y'all so much. I need to sit down. We've got a great speaker here. Coach Ayers, can't wait to hear you. Let's be there. So thank you so much. All right?
Always great to hear Coach Kirk. I tell you, we live in a county right here. I want to tell our Rotarians, we say this all the time. You know, in this county, it's about Raiders, it's about Red Devils, it's about Blue Hose, but it's also about our Crusaders. And maybe a lot of counties don't, and touchdown clubs don't put the emphasis on their private schools. But I tell you what, how can you not want to play for a man like that right there. That man lives with passion every day in his life. He loves his kids. He loves the school. And we love the Lawrence Academy for a second.
Speak phone number out.
Go ahead. Speaking of who I love, my Red Devils, they will go down to Mid Carolina this tomorrow night and take on the Mid Carolina Rebels. At this time, I'm going to ask head coach Corey Fountain to come to the podium.
We appreciate all the sponsors, the great food today, the excitement about football in Lawrence County. Today I brought with me Connor Richardson, Shy Connor, Kate Haywall, and my man Kaufman. Y'all can sit down. We played Pendleton a few weeks ago. It was a good game for us. It was homecoming. We didn't get distracted. Usually get distracted by homecoming. It actually gave us energy. The Clinton Elementary School sent us over letters and goodie bags, and the boys read the letters, and I swear we need them to do that every week because the kids really appreciated those letters from the school kids, and it was able for us to connect with them. We sent our thank you letters back to them this week. In that game, we had some great plays in that game. Connor comes to mind first. His favorite intangible is adversity breaks some men break records. And the year before in the Pendleton game, his arm got broken in that game. And I'm sure it was tough for him and it was tough for the rest of the season. And he's fought and worked his way back. And in that game against Pendleton, he showed a fire that a lot of players wouldn't have shown. And he recovered a fumble for big yards. He intercepted a ball, ran it back, and he batted down the last ball in the game that could have been a first down. And that says a lot about a kid. That says a lot about the fight back that he had and the will to persevere and win. In that game also, Kaufman was our leading tackler, had a fumble recovery, and Cade Haywall was one of our best blockers, and he blocked his tail off. Cade's one of those guys that you say, Cade, I need you to run through that wall. He said, Coach, that might hurt. Can I wear some extra padding? But then he tried to run through the wall, and that's the kind of kids you got to have. And Austin Kaufman, he can come every week. He can come every single week because he's that consistent. He gets after it every play. It doesn't matter what the scoreboard looks like. He's going to give his best effort. And Shy Connor last week, we were losing, we were down, but he rattled off 8 carries for 176 yards and 3 TDs. He never gave up. Those guys never quit blocking for him. And he did the very best he can do this week. We turned around, we got Mid Carolina. I feel like we match up well with them, but we're going to have to get after it. We're going to have to block, we're going to have to tackle, we're going to have to persevere through adversity at times, but we just got to keep doing the fundamentals and doing the intangibles, and hopefully we'll have a successful game. And I look forward to hearing Coach Ayers shortly. Thank you.
We'll be there at WPCC to bring that game to you. Also WLBG, Doug Holliday, Mike Hughes, they'll be there for the Raiders. And as I get ready to introduce the Raiders, you know, as the voice of the Clinton Red Devils working on Main Street, that's kind of a tough job sometimes, but they asked me several years ago, I said, Bud, the Raiders just hired Chris Lyman. And I know you know him, what you think? I said, you give that guy time, you just watch what's fixing to happen. Well, District 55, you gave him time, and you see what's happening. And just this week, Dwayne Martin, he's going to talk about it, I'm sure, nominated for Mr. Football in the state of South Carolina. And I'm going to ask Coach Chris Liner to come up and give the Raiders report.
Before I forget, since you mentioned Dwayne, that award, and Nick had asked me about it earlier today, it's not just a statistical type deal. It's also a young man that you feel like represents or embodies what your team is all about. And you know, certainly we're proud of Dwayne. We're proud of his family, first and foremost. You don't get to that point by just having a coach in your life. I mean, I'm certainly that helps, and he's surrounded by a lot of good coaches that we've been able to assemble at Lawrence. But it also means a lot that his family has raised him in such a way that he's now reaping the rewards of their hard work and their discipline and their love and their toughness on him as a young fellow. So we're certainly proud of Dwayne. We got a lot of guys like Dwayne on our team. when they ask you to nominate folks for whatever award, Mr. Football, it's pretty cool when it's hard to dwindle that list down considerably because there's so many of our guys that we feel like they're deserving. And in 2019, most coaches that I talk to have a very short list. And at Lawrence High School right now, we have a very long list. And again, that makes it a whole heck of a lot of fun to come to work every day. Just to recap, the last couple weeks kind of been crazy for a variety of different reasons. I won't get into the personal reasons. Some of you know those, and I'll just leave those with you. But we played Greenwood 2 weeks ago, beat them 21-7. That's always a fun game for me because most of you know that's where I'm from. So get a lot of extra crap during that week from the peanut gallery, and it was nice to whoop there. You know what, on the field, and it was a very physical game. But at the end of the day, we kind of just bullied them, and that was a whole heck of a lot of fun shaking hands at the end of that game and moving forward. This past week we played Westside High School out of Anderson. I think this game kind of, if you were at the game, kind of depicts our team. By the second half, and I know Coach knows this feeling, he says it all the time, how hard football is and tough it is, and he's right for a variety of different reasons. But I think you saw a football team. We had 6 starters out in the second half. One of them was Dwayne, didn't play a single play in the second half, and we had guys come in and that next man up mentality, which is really hard to convince kids to do. And again, in today's world, it's just different. It's all one mission. Most kids now are just selfish. Most kids stand on the sideline and they pout because they're not playing. Most of the parents sit in the stands and they pout because their kid's not playing. And you get kind of a double whammy, and then people start shooting machine guns with their keyboard. They don't realize how much those words hurt the kids that they're supposedly there cheering on. But I thought you saw a big time, you saw a team Friday night. We had some guys come in that didn't bow. They were excited to get their chance to do what they do and to show that what they've learned in practice and film study and all that would show up on the field, and it did. We were able to block. In fact, Mason's son blocked a punt right at the end of the game, and we ran it back, and we were able to hold him at the end, and we ended up winning that football game. So it was a whole heck of a lot of fun, but as a coaching staff, the most rewarding thing was we realized that at that point, we knew we had a really good team as far as the chemistry and just good kids, but we knew we had a chance to maybe do something special this year, and it's still a long way to go by what showed up in the second half this past Friday night. I brought some of our guys with us this week. I'm going to start with Kale. Kale's one of our Ironman guys. He had to play both ways Friday night due to some of the injuries that I mentioned earlier. Kale Coates is an awesome kid, man. If he ever realizes how good he could be, the sky's the limit for him. And we love having him on our team. He's just a tough guy. Got Lyndon Gall, Dad Daniel back here. Lyndon's been our defensive player of the week the last 2 years. Again, an awesome kid, awesome student athlete. If you saw him this time last year to where he is now, it's unbelievable how hard he's worked and just matured and become a leader for us. And we certainly appreciate you, love you, man. Kim Young, I love this dude. This is my guy. He, when the silliness starts and, kids want to be kids, and we try to let them be kids at times. The time, when you got to put on your belt and go to work and put your blue jeans and your boots on, and this is the guy that makes that happen. He keeps our guys in check. The silly guys, the guys that look like Tarzan, play like Jay. He makes sure that we get more Tarzan than Jay. And I appreciate you for that big time, man. You know how much that means to us. And this is my boy right here, Taj Hammerton. Love this kid, and I'm going to say this, not slight Taj. Taj is not one of our best football players. Okay, Taj is a good player. All right, he doesn't start for us. About a year and a half ago, the guy that's talking to you right now was kind of in a little dark place, a little bit of a crossroads in coaching, because as Coach said, football's tough, but coaching has become extraordinarily tough. Just because everybody now is a critic, you got a lot of petty jealousy, a lot of selfishness, just a lot of things that just makes you sour. And I thought this is what I was taught. But this guy right here, a year and a half ago, I'm sitting in Bowling Springs, and he comes and sits next to me in the stands. And he don't know this, I never told him this. I have been debating on whether to cut, whether to just start cutting. Not because of the kids, but because of the parents. Because I just didn't want to deal with the drama that came with some of the things that you have to deal with, okay? And he sat next to me and I said, you know what? I would never, ever do that, okay? This kid is what high school football is all about. Maybe the best human being at Lawrence High School. If you don't go into my head and ask who your favorite player on the team is, I probably wouldn't say my son. He plays for us. I'd probably say Todd Hammer because he deserves it, okay? Thank y'all so much for what you do.
We're blessed today to have Coach Mike Ayers, who many times has come to this touchdown club. I think Amanda, I think all the board, I think Harold will tell you, if you had to pick the one speaker that's most requested to come back to the Lawrence County Touchdown Club, he is here today. So on a day in which Founders is our game day sponsor, on a day in which we have the Rotary Day here today, we're blessed to have all the Rotarians. But I hope you as a Rotarian are blessed today to be able to sit here and watch 4 coaches from Presbyterian, Lawrence High School, Lawrence Academy, Clinton High School, and know the leadership that our next generation of kids are experiencing. I've often heard that a coach will have more influence over a young person than any other person in their life. Aren't we blessed to have these coaches, Ken Haltwanger, Corey Fountain, Chris Liner, and Todd Kirk, to be leading our young people? I think that deserves a hand. At this time, I'm going to ask a person that the Lawrence Touchdown Club could not do without. He's as vital a member as any. He gets all our speakers. He definitely is more qualified to introduce our speaker today. I'm going to ask Coach Harold Nichols if he'll come up and introduce Coach Ayers.
Well, we've got a special treat today, I can tell you. Coach Ayers, Coach Mike Ayers, who's our speaker today, really needs to know. We use the word legend a lot in coaching, and sometimes I think it gets tossed around too easily. But we got a coaching legend with us today. And I've had the good fortune to compete against him as a player and as a coach. I can't tell you how fortunate Dee and I were to have him and Julie as mentors of ours through my coaching career. They're just great people. You're talking about a man that took Wofford College from the NAIA Division II to the Southern Conference, went to 2 national playoffs in Division II, went to 8 national playoffs, 5-time Southern Conference champion, 5-time Southern Conference Coach of the Year, and in 2003 was named the Eddie Robinson Award winner, which in college coaching is the highest award that you can get. I know a lot of us have heard Coach Ayers speak before, but really it's going to be a treat for these young men that sit up here on these front tables because his message is so strong. I know that all of his former players have so much love and respect for him. You can see every time that he interacts with them. So y'all give a special Lawrence County welcome to Coach Mike Ayers.
It is great to be here, and I'm not kidding. When you're 71 years old, it's great to be anywhere. I've been very blessed. All the accolades, all the victories and things like that. I was just a piece of the puzzle. There were so many other pieces to that puzzle: assistant coaches, administrators, players, wives, children. That I couldn't, it'd take forever just to name the name. I was one of those guys growing up, quite frankly. Coach, I was a knothead. Get in trouble at school, somebody say something in the lunchroom, go see the coach. And then the guy that saved my life was a guy named Tom Dowling. Tom Dowling was my head football coach. Tom Dowling was a big old guy. He was about 6'2" and a half. He was about 280 pounds, and he took no junk. And Tom Dowling was one of those guys, I don't know why, but Tom saw something in me, and for some reason, he gave me a second chance in high school. And so, moral of the story is, I'm rocking and rolling because of my anger, because of my toughness, because of my like to scrap and fight and do all that. I was a pretty good football player. I was a linebacker. I used to like to hit people face to face and just see them. And got an opportunity to go to college. Went to East Kentucky University. We won the OVC championship that year. I was a freshman. I was getting to play. I was at Eastern, and they actually had real weights. At Glen Espy High School, where I played high school ball, we had coffee cans and broomsticks. And it was one of those deals where I was getting to play. I was getting 3 square meals a day, and I had a real weight room. I said, what else in life could I want? Moral of the story is, I did not do the things that I needed to do from an academic standpoint. Took the short road, got excluded, academic exclusion. I go back to my roots where I started at 14 years old on the back of a garbage truck, and next thing you know, I'm in college. I get kicked out of college, and I'm back on the garbage truck. And that time, it was in 1968. I got a draft notice, went to the federal building, took a physical, passed the physical, went to the Marine Corps. I get off active duty. My lot in life was back to the garbage truck. And the thing of it is, I knew for a fact that I didn't want to do this the rest of my life. But I knew that if I didn't change somehow, some way, get another break, that's what it was going to be. I come off the trucks. I go to my brother and I've got 5 brothers. We were known as the Hillbilly Mafia back then. And if you fought one, you fought us all, so you didn't want to scrap with one of them. So it's one of those deals, we run out of food. And when you run out of food, who do you call? I call Mom. And I call Mom and I said, Mom, do you have anything to eat? I said, there's nothing here. She said, I just made some chicken. I said, oh my God. My mother could fry chicken, make you cry. And she made a mean biscuit, too. So I get there, and when I get there, I'm picking the chicken. I'm actually going in the grease, and it's still hot. You know, I'm picking the chicken. She said, somebody called you. And I said, who? She said, I don't know, some coach. I said, what was his name? She said, I don't know, I was busy cooking. She said, there's a piece of paper there with his number on it. Torn piece of sack paper, number 2 pencil. That was an answering machine back then. I called the number as soon as I hear his voice. I said, Coach, what's up? He said, Hillbilly, do you still think you can play? I said, Coach, just give me a chance. How big an influence was my coach? I get emotional. Everything up. I named my son after that man. And my son named his son after that man. I want all of you coaches and all of you people that are sitting here right now to understand this. I don't care what your lot is in life. I don't care whether you make $1 million or you make $10 a month. You can be a difference. You can be a difference maker in somebody's life. That man gave me that opportunity, and that opportunity allowed me to play the game that I love, and allowed me to get into coaching, and allowed me to do something for 46 years. and allowed me to be here today. It's crazy. It's crazy to understand all of the things that went on, and finally we end up here today. God's got a plan. God's got a plan. When I was growing up, I didn't know God. When I was growing up, quite frankly, I'd never heard of God. Matter of fact, the first time that I went to church, the reason that I went to church was I used to look out the window on Sundays, and I would see these kids get off of this rickety bus, and they had cookies in their hand. And I said, hey, I'm going to get me a cookie. The next Sunday, I asked my mom, I said, can we go to church? She said, I'm not going, you can go. I get on the bus, do something with kids, go to church, I'm in the back. Next thing you know, they have the call to the altar. I'm thinking, cookie time, here we go. I get up, man, I'm going first. I get up there, and this guy grabs my hand. He said, come on, son. Come on, son. I got to talk to you. Takes me back. He said, son, do you know Jesus Christ? I said, he don't live in my neighborhood. He said, son, have you ever been saved? I said, saved from what? He said, son, you don't know that Jesus Christ died for you? I said, no, sir, I don't even know him. I don't know where he lives. I leave. I go out. There's no cookies. Last time I went to church. Last time. Life goes on. I get this second opportunity. And with that second opportunity, I meet my wife, to be. And she still is my rock, and she will always be my rock. And the thing that I know is this: she brought something into my life, and she was about going to church. And I finally realized, and I finally found Christ, and I finally got the answers that I needed, because I was searching for some answers. Moral of the story is, without Christ in your life, there's no joy. There's no joy. And I believe, just like, that you have the acronym for GOAT, greatest of all time. I've got the acronym for joy: Jesus, others, and you. And you. That's the problem with us now today. That you in joy comes last. But that why always wants to go first. That you always wants to go first. That's the tough thing about sports today. That's the tough thing about businesses today. That's the tough thing about life today. Everybody wants to be first. They don't want to serve. They don't want to help. They don't want to do the dirty jobs, the hard jobs. When I was on the garbage truck, I had a kid shoot me with a pellet rifle. At the end of the day, after it all transpired, police coming and the whole shooting match, the cops said, what do you want to do with the kid? And I was thinking, do I get to punch him or something like that? And I said, no. All I want to do is ask this kid one question. Why'd you shoot me? And that kid said, you're just a garbage man. You're just a garbage man. How does the kid get to that point in life where he can judge? Where he can just say, you're just X? It's crazy. I have been blessed because of that. And I'll tell you why. When that happened, I realized for the first time in my life that cat judged me for what he saw on the outside. That's how he judged me. I was a garbage man. I was in gym shorts and dirty gym shoes, and I had dirt rings all around me. I used to get close to my job, you know what I'm saying? And it's one of those things where all he did, he saw the outside of me. He didn't know my love. He didn't know my passions. He didn't know what my future was, what I wanted to try to be. Nothing about it. All he did was judge the outside. That's the great thing about coaching. That's the great thing about coaching, because that lesson right there allowed me as a coach to see guys that other people said, not big enough, and you're no good, you're a reject. But all they saw was the outside. How tall is that kid? How much does he weigh? How big is his shoulders? How big is his legs? How strong is he? They didn't check one thing, and the most critical thing, that right there, the heart. And we did our best to try to find those guys that had that heart, that were willing to fight and fight and fight again. There were times that we were outmatched. There's no doubt about that. You roll into Death Valley going against Clemson, hey, especially on one of those nice days as far as the weather, 106, you know, one of those days. But it came down to great lesson. And all of you guys here understand this. All of you got your little logos. Clinton and Lawrence and this and that. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is not what's across your chest. It's what beats in your heart. And I don't care whether you're 6'6" and 280 or whether you're 5'6" and $120. If you truly believe that you do your best, and that's part of your creed, part of your motto, part of your life, then you'll be a success throughout your life. I love coaching. I love coaching. And I would get sometimes a little riled up. I'd come in that locker room sometimes and I'd be jacked. Jacked. And I would go in there and the players, you know, they're going all over the place and stuff like that. And I'd tell them, sit down, boys. I gotta talk to you. Today, we playing for the Southern Conference Championship today. And I want you to understand this. All I want is your best. Nothing more, nothing less. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Because I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you're good enough. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that when you lay it on the line, it's everything you got. Now, are you with me? Are you with me? You know. Okay. He doesn't know what to think right now. Okay, hold on to my hand. Okay. When times get hard now, you're going to have to hold on. Because we got to fight this fight together, because that team out there, they're supposed to win a state championship. Nobody picks us to do nothing. Are you going to hold on when we down by 2 scores? Get it! Are you going to hold on? Hey, it's 2 minutes to go in the game. You got 1 shot to go. Are you going to make it happen? Why are you holding on? Why are you holding on? The reason I'm holding on is because love you, and I know you love me, and the thing that I know because of Jesus Christ is love. It's the glue that holds everything together. You understand? Sit down. Love is the glue that holds everything together. And thank God I have a wife that loves me. Because there's a lot of times that things got a little crazy in the coaching business. I'll leave you with this deal right here. Okay? I'll leave you with this. There's a sports psychologist out today named Kevin Elko. How many people have heard of Dr. Elko? Okay. Dr. Elko is one of those guys, he just got the juice. I mean, he's got it. He's got it. And Dr. Elko was hired by the Pittsburgh Steelers to evaluate their top prospect picks in the draft. Dr. Elko, Bill Cowher, this is the Steelers. They end up having a room, and they brought the players in, one by one. And the player, first one, sits down. Elko and Cowher are on that side. The prospect is in this chair. Dr. Elko starts out, and he doesn't want the guy to get on the defensive. So he asks him a simple question. What's your favorite color, Coach? Blue. Blue. Okay. What's your favorite car? Honda Civic. Honda Civic. Blue. Honda Civic. Then he asked him the real deal. He said, have you ever faced adversity? The prospect, potential draftee, says, yes, sir. Dr. Elko says, will you explain it to me? He said, well, my last camp that I had my senior year, he said, I had to knock my shoulder out, complete dislocation. He said, golly, that must have been tough. He said, how many practices did you miss? He said, none, sir. He said, did you miss any games? He said, no, sir. He said, can you tell me, can you explain to me how you did that? And he says this. I said to myself, if my mom, who is battling cancer, can go to work 6 days a week, I can deal with this shoulder. I said to myself, and the way that I took it after hearing that was this. I said to myself, a moment of clarity. How many times have you said something that you wish you could take back? About a minute. I said to myself, take that moment of clarity, and then all of a sudden, you clear the chamber. All of a sudden, you clear the clutter. All of a sudden, hey, I got the right answer instead of the wrong answer, or the wrong response, or the right response instead of the wrong response. I said to myself, and this is for everybody in this room, but especially you young guys. I said to myself, if Coach catches me smoking this joint, I'm probably going to lose my scholarship. I said to myself, if I drive this car after drinking 4 beers and I get stopped, I'm probably going to get arrested and lose my scholarship. I said to myself, if I do this and hang I won't be able to get out of. I said to myself, so the moral of the story is, I said to myself, no matter what, I said to myself, and when times are hard, I said to myself, and take that moment of clarity, and instead of trying to find it, the answer here, right there. Right there. How many people in here have wrestled a black bear? Really? Nobody. When I got off active duty, two of my brothers picked me up off the plane. They took me to the Cincinnati Convention Show. At the convention show, they had boats. They had guys with fly rods, casting and all this. They had guys shooting bows and arrows and all that cool stuff. We go there, we're walking around, and they had this one boat, and it was a Captain Cruiser. And I told them, I said, help me up, I want to see what this thing is about. So they helped me up, I got inside right there, I walked downstairs, got into, I don't know if that's a living room, if that's proper for a boat, but I got into the biggest section, they had the cushions, I was leaning back right there, and I yelled out, how much is this? I couldn't have bought that boat if I had to. And they said, way too much. Got out. All of a sudden, ladies and gentlemen, Victor, the wrestling bear. He said wrestling bear? Yeah, let's go. We hustle over. They got this stage, it's about that far off. Guy comes out, he's got Victor in a leash. Victor was supposedly 7'2", 550 pounds, black bear. And he had gone, and what he used to do was travel the logging camps up in Canada, and you would pay $1 to wrestle the bear to win $25 if you pinned the bear. Let's do it. So we get around, it must be 10, 15 people. This guy comes out, there's this big drapery. He comes out, he's got Victor on a leash. I went to my brother Ray, he's the oldest, and I said, this will be dumb enough to get up here and wrestle this bear. Guy said, give me 5 volunteers. 4 of them jumped up, right on the stage. I later found out all 4 of them had been drinking. So he said, I need one more. Both of my brothers jacked me up under my legs and threw me up on the stage. And so here comes Vic. He had a muzzle, he clawed, and there was 1, 2, 3, 4. I was the last one. The guy next to me, very inebriated. He was about $1.60. And he was regretting his decision. Long story short, he goes through all 4 of them, and then the guy who was his handler, he had Levi's on, he had his big suspenders on, big plaid shirt. He comes up to me, he goes, mix it up. I said, is he trying to get me killed? He said, no, mix it up. So I've been watching Vic. I've been watching my opponent. Okay, come here, Vic. Come here. Okay, you're Victor. Don't be shy. All right. Victor, I've noticed anytime that hands moved up, his paw would move up. All right? And so, moral of the story is, I kept working around Vic, and I kept shooting my hand, and then Vic went up, and then I did what's called a duck under. I spin around, I drop down, I tackle him, I get up, and I get around him just like that. What is that? Bear hug. Okay. Go sit down. I get Vic, I got him down, and my brothers are screaming, "Got him pinned! He got him pinned!" And the handlers tell me, "Let him up." I said, "No." He said, "Let him up, let him up." He breaks my hands, Vic gets up, and the next thing you know, boom, I'm underneath him. 550 pounds, I don't know whether he may have been 549, I'm not sure. But one of those things where, again, I wrestled in high school, I tabled up. Anybody know what that term means? Basically, you try to brace where you can't tilt, turn you over on your back. And so finally, I got away from Vic. Hey, I said, I'm complete toast. You talk about all your guys cramping up. I was beyond cramping up. I was out of oxygen. I was seeing 3 Vics, and I said, hey, what do we got to do? And I reverted back to football. And I saw Vic, and I ran as hard as I could. And I butted Vic right up under the jaw. Fellas, listen, bad mistake. Bad mistake. Vic comes like this. Boom! Hits me across the chest, and I fly. I fly. This is true story. True story. 3 guys catch me. 2 guys, just the average Joe. The 3rd guy was a Catholic priest. He says, "Get in there, my son, you're whipping him." And I tell the priest, "Get your hands off of me or I'm going to whip you." The moral of the story is simply this. Life's a bear. It's going to be tough. You got to fight the fight and find a way to win every day. If you give yourself a chance, there's always a chance. God bless you.
Thank Coach Ayers for being here. All the guys in this room was at Death Valley about 3 or 4 years ago on that 106-degree day. And just like the guys do, you start texting. Because it's about an even game at halftime. What's wrong with Clemson? What's going on? True story. Harold Nichols was in that text thread. He said, "I'll tell you what's happening in Death Valley. Clemson's facing a Mike Ayers coach football team. That's what's happening." Thank you, Coach Ayers. At this time, I'm going to ask that Scott Tollison, the Lawrence County Rotary President.